As I'm coaching young girls through basketball, through everything they're going through in this life, as you see, the reason why kids give up on sports, the reason why kids don't want to pursue hard work is because the adults in the room have ruined it for them. Youth sports is broken because of the grown-ups. The adults want to be entertained on Saturday instead of working hard all through the week. Let's take a look at this video by Richard Jefferson, a former NBA player.
I want my kid to go shoot threes when he's 8 years old and he's got this crazy form because he's like, no, I told little Rich, do not shoot threes. I don't care. Like you at the park with your friends, do not shoot threes. Now he's 10 and now he can shoot threes and now his form looks proper, right?
Exactly. That's one thing I taught my daughter is it's not about shooting threes when you're 7, 8, 9 years old because you don't know how to control the ball. You don't know how to control your form properly. See, what we're losing in society is we're not taking the time to teach the basics, proper form, how to pass correctly, how to dribble, how to rebound, how to box out, how to backdoor cut. See, now in society, we're all worried about just the highlights, just going viral, and it's gotten lost, and it's affecting our children. This is why this young generation can't play basketball, has no basketball IQ, because coaches are taking time out of the day to practice nonsense, to practice things that they'll never use once they get older.
So there's so many things that are just lost in like, we're going to do dribbling drills and teach people how to full court press at 9 years old. It's like, what the? I took my kids out of that. Once I saw they spent an hour of practice, full court pressing and learning how to break a press, which is something that's irrelevant once you get to 14 years old. Why are you spending time doing that? So these people can say, we went 42-9 last summer.
Richard Jefferson is 100% right. Why are coaches taking their time at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old to show kids how to break a press or how to press? So my daughter plays for the YMCA right now. She's 11 years old. Her training time is more important than game time. So she trains 4 to 5 times a week. Weightlifting, dribbling, shooting, playing defense. To me, that core value is more important. So you see during game time, what coaches are concentrating on. Coaches are sitting there worried about their record, how they look, how they feel, because they are broken inside. They have no foundation. They're still worried about what happened with them in Little League, what happened with them in youth sports. They're trying to relive through these kids. So we're breaking kids in the process. My daughter's 11 years old, very skilled. She can shoot, she can pass, she can dribble. She can break down a press, but no other girl there can. Even on the opposite team, they can't dribble, they can't pass, they can't shoot. But you're taking the time, the 1 hour of the day that you have for practice, to worry about a pressing, to call pressing the whole second half of the game. And I have kids there who have been on other teams asking me, do we press? I said, no, we don't, because we're not worried about this win. This win means nothing. I'm getting you ready for life. I'm making sure that when you leave my team, you're capable of keep playing throughout your whole entire life. You're not broken by the system because you can't get past a press at 10 years old, at 11 years old. How is that beneficial to kids? They can't even move their feet on defense, but we're teaching them how to press. We're teaching them to put 4 girls on 1 girl because she's more skillful, because she's taking the time out of her day to work harder, because we want that win instead of teaching them how to play proper defense, how to stay in front of your man, how to make sure you move your feet, not your hands. So we're breaking other kids down so the grown-ups can feel better. We're taking the time out of our day to say we're going to triple team 1 girl because these girls are not good enough. Nobody's taking the time to actually make sure and develop them because we're more worried about our record, about winning a title, about winning a trophy that nobody will remember. Because you ask any kid, what was your record last year? They wouldn't be able to tell you. You ask any kid, how many games did you win? They will not be able to tell you. How many points did you drop? They will not be able to tell you because they're not worried about that. They have so much other things to worry about than worry about nonsense that means nothing. We're here to develop the kids. So I know a lot of you parents out there want to sit there and harangue a victory at 11, 12 years old that means nothing because you've earned it through bullying. You've earned it through not learning the proper technique to make you a good basketball player. Because at the end of the day, this is what I tell my daughter is, you're supposed to take your lumps now because you're developing. You're not supposed to be the best because you're developing. You're not supposed to win every game because you're developing. They don't need to be pressured on winning or losing because you see, society's breaking them. And every parent, every grown-up in Little League sports is contributing to that. This is why kids don't want to play sports anymore because you're putting so much pressure on them. You're telling them to survive in chaos. They can't even dribble the ball with their right hand and sustain it for 3 dribbles. But we're going to take the time to be pressing, playing a zone, playing all this nonsense so that you guys can feel better about yourselves. When you try to talk to people, when you try to call it out, you're looked at as the bad guy. You're looked at as the crazy one because you're calling it out. I got a technical foul because I said, are we really pressing at 11 years old throughout the whole second half? What are they learning? Yes, you got the win. Yes, you got the whole raise. Yes, you got the instant gratification. But what did they learn? What I told my girls, I said, don't worry about it. We're here to learn. We're here to fail. We're here to make sure we get better every single day. And it's not about the game. It's about practice. How many times a day are you practicing? Parents are more worried about the game than practice itself. I have a lot of parents on my team that won't even take the time out of their day to practice with their children, but they want them to perform on a Saturday. Now, let's think about that. I have 7 girls, 6 not including mine. There's only one dad. There's only one parent that I know 100% that says, I take the time to practice with my daughter. And the man doesn't know much about basketball, but what he did was ask me and said, does your daughter practice every single day? I said, yes, she does. And he was impressed because he's seen what she can do on the court. He sees that every single time she goes out there, she's getting double, triple team because they cannot play one-on-one with her. And yes, she gets frustrated. Yes, she gets mad. But I told her it's okay. Because once you're a teenager, once you're 15, 16 years old, that will all nonsense will stop. And those kids that are winning now won't be able to play later because kids nowadays have no basketball IQ. I play basketball every Tuesday and Friday, and you see how much IQ is lost. You have these young kids who are literally like cones because they're taught attack, but they can't move their feet. So you get a layup every single time. It's because the system is broken. We're more worried about wins than actually developing these young kids. We're putting so much pressure on them. We're thinking that we need to be developed. If you can't play by the age of 9, then you can't play basketball. And that could be furthest from the truth. Stephen Curry, the greatest shooter all time, had to relearn his shot in high school, had to take the time to make sure all his foundation was built from the ground up again because he was not developed properly because he was more worried about playing the game and actually working hard. But once he took the time, him and his father, he asked his father, I want to play D1. His dad told him the truth. Well, you can't shoot from down here. You're going to have to shoot from up here. So it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of time. And he wanted to give up, but he didn't because he worked hard through it. It was more about practice than the actual game. We have it so mixed up here in America. We practice 1 day a week, but then the weekends, they're playing 6 games. These kids no longer want to work hard. These kids no longer want to practice. Let's take a look at this clip from a very famous coach. And look what he said.
High school kids play or younger kids play because they're more talented than ever. They're better athletes than ever. They can do more things than kids 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago. But they're not better basketball players because this coach or that system has them playing 6 games on Saturday and they practice once that week. It's totally opposite of what they do in Europe, where you will practice 6 days and you will play once. So you wonder why all these kids coming from Europe, they said, well, why are they so fundamentally sound? Why can they all dribble? They can all pass. They can all shoot. Doesn't matter whether they're 5'10" or 6'10", because they practice. They don't play games. Here, it's all about how many games are we going to play? And then are we going to practice this week? Like I coached the boys AAU team. My son was on. We had 5 Division I players. We had 3 kids and 1 pro. So we went down and played in Orlando in a tournament that all the college coaches go to. And we had a chance that if we won one more game, we would finish 11th. That's pretty damn good. We had them all coming back the following year. And then 2 of the kids said, I'm not playing. I said, why not? I said, well, I'm playing on another team. Why? Well, turns out we practiced every Tuesday and Thursday like clockwork. Well, the other coach told them, you don't have to practice, just show up for games. Coaches are feeding into this because guess what? A lot, I'm not saying all of them, but so many of the coaches that coach don't have any idea how to be a good coach.
Exactly. You see that. In Europe, they practice 6 days a week, play 1 game a week. In America, you play 6 games a week and practice once a week if you want to. Because if you're a D1, if you're a top recruit, you can just show up to the game and the coach is okay with that because the coach wants to win. But once you have a standard, they no longer want to play for you anymore. They think they're too good to practice. They think they're too good to work hard. They're too good to be called out. No, the problem is we're breaking these kids. We're coddling them. We're making them look like they're superstars at the age of 15, 16 years old. But you got to realize something. Only 1% of the population has a chance to make the NBA. So the kids who you're not taking the time to develop them, who you're not taking the time to actually make them men, make them young ladies, they're falling through the crack. And society is getting a hold of them. They go to the streets and get lost. They go to jail. They become pregnant because we're not taking the time to develop them because we're more worried about the highlight reel. We're more worried about winning. We're more worried about how many trophies are in the cases instead of taking the time to develop them. Let's look at some scripture and let's make sure we build these kids up properly. Let's go to Proverbs 22 and let's start at verse 4. True humility and fear of the Lord leads to riches, honor, and long life. Corrupt people walk a thorny, treacherous road. Whoever values life will avoid it. Direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. Let's say that one more time. Direct your children on the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave. It is our jobs as adults to lead these young children to the right path. I work with young men, and you see how broken they are because nobody's taking the time to develop them. It's either you get it done at my pace or you get off the court or you get off the field. But come on, guys, we need to wake up. I had a young man that had a chance to go D1, that had a chance to go to the Major League Baseball, scouted, top, I believe it's top 18, top 50 in New York, something like that. But he fell through the cracks because he didn't have the coach there to lead him in the right direction. He let the fame, he let all the stuff get to his head and didn't want to work hard. Didn't want to take the time to actually put in the work. He wanted a party, he wanted the fame, he wanted the luxury, but he didn't want to put the work in. And I met him at 19 years old, broken, didn't know what he wanted to do with the rest of his life. He thought he was going to be a failure. But no, I took the time to speak with the young man. I took the time to build him up. That now this young man is the youngest financial advisor, I believe, in Merrill Lynch's history because he took the time to develop. He took the time to put in the work. And that's what we're not teaching these young kids. We're not taking the time to teach them. We're taking the time to destroy them for our benefit, for our wins, which means nothing. For you as a director of the YMCA to sit and watch a young girl get quadruple teamed and it not bother you. To watch the girls pressing throughout the whole second half, but they can't shoot, they can't dribble, and they can't pass. And if that doesn't bother you to change something, to take the time to say, you know what? I can make this program better. And I'm tired of all this nonsense. It's only the YMCA. It's only this. It's only that. How do you ridicule your own program because people are calling you out? Kids are held to a higher standard than the adults. The adults say, well, we can't see everything. But you call everything that you see. This is what the problem we have. If you call it out, if you say it with a loud voice, it's about the grown-ups and how they feel. That could be furthest from the truth. We're watching children get broken Saturday after Saturday for the adults' benefit. And that don't bother society. We need to take a look at society and we need to fix it. And it starts with the youth. The youth are the future. And I'm tired of everybody saying, oh, these young kids are so soft, or these young kids don't. Guys, the adults raised them. It's not the children's fault. It's the adults' fault for not showing the kids what hard work means. Just because you're an adult doesn't mean your life is over. You can still put in work. You can still put in the time and show your kids, I'm here grinding. I'm here putting in the work with you. So wake up. Ending it here. Thank you to everybody subscribe. If you're watching this for the first time, please take the time to subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment. On this channel, we grow every day and we'll help others grow. Remember, work hard today for a better tomorrow, and I'll see you on my next video.